What's going on, Gemini? And welcome to my channel, Alchemist. Justin here, and I hope you're having a fantastic month so far. Are you ready for this, Gemini? It's that time of the month. But for those of you who are returning, welcome back, Soul Tribe. I appreciate your subscriptions, your likes, and shares. Your support really is just phenomenal, Gemini. And it keeps us growing. And for those of you who are new, welcome. I'm happy how yourself has brought you here. We are in for an amazing journey. And let me tell you why this one's so special, because it is Celestial News Monthly. You would think as often as I do that, you think I'd get sick of it. Not even a little bit. But with this weekly spread, with this monthly spread, Gemini, when the sun moves into a new sign, we're going to talk about where the planets are at and how we can work with the energies. And just so you're all aware, this is a general reading, not a one-to-one, so take what resonates with you, leave the rest with me, and never force reading on a situation, okay? So with all that being said there, Gemini, let's jump into it. Hold on, Gemini, let me get something fixed here real quick. There we go. Alright, and your space has been cleansed. Crystals, feeling lovely. Just great energy all around here, Gemini. Now, I have Zodiac Oracle cards here with the signs that the sun and the planets are in. I'm gonna pull Oracle cards for each one of them, and then I'll get some details with the tarot. But before we jump into this thing, Gemini, these readings that I do, they're not gender-specific readings, so apply these energies to people as they make sense for your situations, okay? And in case if y'all were curious, the decks that I'm working with, I've included links for them down in the description box below, so definitely check that out if you're interested. But also down below some links for some other readers that I like watching their Gemini, so definitely check them out. Very great insights that you bring, that they bring. I think you'd enjoy them. There's some links for some astrologers that I like watching as well. Actually, and I'm gonna start including some other resources down there as well, Gemini. So I'll definitely be keeping you posted. As far as when I start updating more of that stuff there, in case you want to check out some of those resources that I work with. So yeah, stay tuned for that there, Gemini. But before we get into this, get into all this energy here, there's an aspect that I want to, a very special one that I want to kind of talk about here that's happening on the 20th. Aquarius' birthday is going to be a big one. They're coming in strong, because the sun right before the sun and the Pluto enter into Aquarius, they are forming a conjunction at 8:46 a.m. and that'll be Eastern time, and all the times I mentioned will be in Eastern time. And the reason it's so special is because it's happening on the 29th. Well, not just, it's happening on the 29th degree, which is the anaretic degree, which is kind of a special point there, because this degree is seen as a point of crisis or culminations, and where the themes of the signs are really kind of felt more urgently. But also this is happening on the 59th minute as well. So it's like the fact that it's happening on literally the tail end, no pun intended for Cap, but on the tail end of Capricorn energy, it's kind of like their final exchange that they'll be talking in that frequency before they move over into Aquarius. So this is going to be a very interesting energy. It's like any sort of last minute kind of Capricorn. It's like the final push, or kind of like the last chapter for any kind of Capricorn related things. It's going to be a very, potentially an intense transformation, depending on where you're kind of at in your journey, because this can lead to very significant personal growth, often through intense and challenging experiences. Because the sun is like our will, our energy, how we kind of define ourselves to the world. That the sun fuels our chart, but Pluto brings things up. He digs deep and brings things up from the depth and bring a light on them. And those sometimes those things can be rather destructive, can be rather chaotic in things, or can seem like that at first, because he brings this stuff up just so that he can show us where we can transform. In a sense, it's like you don't know there's something wrong until it's brought into your attention. And now with the sun kind of shining a light on it too, I feel there are going to be some things kind of brought up to light there, maybe with considering it's Capricorn, maybe something with governments, maybe something in your corporations. It's going to be a very big energy with this conjunction there. But you may also find that find yourself kind of confronting like power issues, control dynamics, and kind of deep-seated fears there, Gemini. So it's one where it's not an energy to get you scared or anything along those lines, but it is a very transformative energy. You really kind of coming, embracing kind of your true self there, and then finding those kind of underlying things that may have been controlling you from beneath the scene. So just something to be aware of there, Gemini. This is going to be an interesting time for a very potentially pretty solid time for the air signs there, because let's get into this extravaganza that Aquarius is thrown in their sign, because you have the sun that's entering Aquarius. Your ruler is going to be entering Aquarius. Mercury, Venus will be in Aquarius. Mars is going to be in Aquarius, and Pluto is going to be in Aquarius. So it's going to be kind of a wild ride there. A lot of air energy that's coming into the mix. So that's going to be beneficial for you. But let's talk about the sun first, because the sun is going to be entering into Aquarius on the 20th of January at about 9:07 a.m. and will be there through the 18th of February. And with this, you may notice that you feel more inclined to express your unique qualities and may seek more independence in your kind of personal life there. Aquarius is one that does value their freedom very much, and anything that restricts them, they're not going to allow that to break free. And they're, excuse me, they're the types that they're not a rebellious sign by nature. I feel like they're only rebellious when they're restricted like that. So that's one aspect to think about there, Gemini. But there could be a greater focus on social causes, community involvement, connecting with different like-minded groups and things. Excuse me. I'm getting over a little bit of a cold there, Gemini. I'm at the tail end of it, which is thank goodness. But on a kind of a larger scale there, this is a period where we might see more movements for social change, technological advancements, and more sort of like innovative solutions towards like global issues and things. It's going to be a very expansive time, I feel, for the soul tribe with all this Aquarius energy. Aquarius is kind of a wild card as far as like what you can really expect. There that it's who knows what this may look like. But this is a time to really start thinking ahead, thinking towards the future. Now with your ruler, Mercury is going to be entering on the 5th of February at about 12:10 a.m. And this is a nice placement for Mercury to be. He does well, or they do well in Aquarius, because Mercury's exalted in Aquarius. Aquarius is a very intelligent sign, all about the higher mind, and this can be a great time for kind of more open-mindedness and intellectual explorations there, particularly in areas that like science, technology, wherever this may, maybe even space, like just whatever you, oh, my thoughts just fell out of my head there for a second. But wherever you feel, just all those Aquarian-like themes. You may notice that the thought process is geared towards there. Your mind is working a lot harder, thinking a lot broader, in a sense. Now I'll talk about Venus on the next one, because she's gonna be in Capricorn before she'll get over to she's gonna be going through Capricorn in the early parts of Aquarius season. But Mars is going to be entering into Aquarius on the 13th of February at about 1:05 a.m. And this inspires innovative and unconventional approaches to achieving our goals. Mars is our drive and our actions. It really kind of pushes us now with this Aquarius energy to think outside of the box. And there may be a stronger drive for personal freedoms, and maybe even like taking actions towards like I don't know, just like maybe more towards like liberative actions and things along those lines, as far as like maybe joining different groups and things along those lines, kind of, you know, kind of fighting for people, maybe doing like a going to like a rally, things along those lines. Who knows what that might look like, Gemini. But also you may notice too that people might be be are definitely be more resistant to control, and may feel more inclined to challenge authorities, whether this be through governments or maybe even like corporations, things along those lines. There, anything sort of like, we know we're getting kind of out of this old guard of Capricorn, because we've been under that influence with Pluto being there for about 15 years. So now we're kind of shifting gears there. You know, we're going from the state of tradition, the structure here. And Aquarius is not just going to destroy everything. You know, they're going to take what works with Capricorn and then build off of that and better that and then grow from that as well. But then you have the much anticipated Pluto in Aquarius. Now, Pluto will retrograde one more time into Capricorn at the, I want to say it's a between September through November is when I have to look up the exact dates, but September to November is when he'll be retrograding back into Capricorn one more time. And this is probably, especially if you have like any sort of placements in that like 29th degree or that like 0 degree of one of Gemini, because I'll tell you, I have a I have a Gemini moon, and it's on the 0 degree. And yeah, he's past my point now. One, two, it's going to go 3 and 4. So he'll probably hit it a total of 5 times, you know, once he finishes this last little one in around that towards the later end of the year. So if you've probably been feeling a lot of that, if you have any Gemini points at that degree, or maybe either some sort of like cardinal points, earth points, things along those lines. So, but Pluto in Aquarius is such a big deal too, because Pluto is the slowest moving celestial body of them. And he takes anywhere from 12 to 30 years to move through a sign. And so this is a very, yeah, you see now why this is such a big deal. But this could lead to changes in social structures and to the collective ideals. It can lead to a rise in new social movements and new societal norms, and in major advancements in technology. I feel this is setting the tone. I have some theories, especially when we get to, like, I'm excited for next year for you, Gemini, because Uranus is going to be transiting through Gemini next year, and that, I feel like, is going to be a kind of like a shock to the system. There's something kind of unlocking, kind of waking up inside of you, so that's something I feel like to really kind of look forward to. So yeah, we're getting ready to set the stage for the air signs there. So it's gonna be a wild time there. And I like all this air energy for you too there, Gemini, because depending on where your placements are at, this is forming a trine with your sign. And trines are very beneficial, or they can be very beneficial type of energy. They remove blockages and can be very fast moving. Now, with Pluto, it can be, ultimately, these aspects are leading you towards your highest, towards your highest vibration. But how it may translate at first can be a little tricky, especially because I've had the first, when he first made that exact point with my moon placement, I had a situation happen that it caught me off. I knew it was coming, but it didn't translate like I thought it was going to. But ultimately, something really wonderful did kind of come out of it, ultimately. But it was something had to get brought up first in order for it. Pluto brought something to the surface there that, yeah, really, really kind of deep down, that I hadn't dealt with, or didn't realize that I hadn't dealt with. So Very fascinating. But yeah, these trines can be, yeah, you know, very, very beneficial for you overall there, Gemini. So just something to work with these energies with. But let's go ahead and get into your first card here, Gemini, because you have the Heal card here. And I feel with this Heal card, this I feel is a time to make sure that we are taking, excuse me, taking a moment and resting up. And you know, I like that there's this little snail on this thing here. Make sure to go slow, kind of not, you know, if you found yourself kind of just kind of scattered and split all over the place, and maybe you've been feeling some sort of I don't know if there's been sort of some, maybe even some sort of emotional thing. Maybe your body's just feeling a little burnt out. You know, been feeling a little anxious, a little apprehensive, been feeling all of these planetary shifts that are going on there. This is a time to just make sure that we are properly, you know, healing the body, you know, filling it with like nutritious foods, making sure to stay hydrated, getting enough rest, getting outside, you know, moving the body, things along those lines. You know, I feel like just being mindful of that. But I do feel that's interesting with this eye on this heart here, because I feel that there might be some, maybe some deeper things that maybe we need to ask ourselves, do we need to heal? Maybe some stuff that we may have ignored or maybe have been kind of put to the side, maybe because it's been difficult to deal with, or whatever this may be looking like for you, Gemini. But I feel that it's one of those things that it's like with a band-aid. It's like with a band-aid, you know, it's like you can either kind of rip this thing off kind of one little hair at a time and kind of pull it off, or you can just go ahead and just rip it off and then allow it to breathe for a moment. I feel like this is one too where we're not forcing something to happen there, Gemini, but I feel like it's just like acknowledging maybe somewhere where we might not have just like an area of our lives that may have some sort of control over us, or may have, you know, some things that we still may be kind of clinging on to, or something like I'm getting kind of like a Six of Cups type of vibe, like a sort of like tied to like a past sort of thing or something along those lines. But let me get your tarot cards here and see what's going on with this energy. And maybe this might be you, Gemini, doing some healing work, thinking about getting into maybe, I mean, maybe for some we're going for like nursing or something, or maybe we're getting doctors, or I was actually just talking with someone. I don't know if she's a Gemini, but I was talking with someone who was just saying they were going through medical school. But this could be maybe you're looking at different, maybe you're becoming some sort of like Reiki healer, or you know, working with crystals, or maybe doing it through you know, herbs, or whatever this might be looking like there. You know, I'm with that. But let's let me get the rest of your cards here. How funny, I actually just got them doing their readings. You got the Hermit here, Virgo, and they actually got you, Gemini. Oh, and there's one of your cards for me. I dig that. But you have the Hermit, the Page of Pentacles, the Six of Pentacles, the Six of Swords, and then the King of Swords. But let's talk about this Six of Swords here. Because I feel that there is something here that we're getting. I feel like this energies are asking you, whatever this is that we need to heal, what are the steps that we need to take in order to move on from this experience, you know? Because I feel this is something that you've been ignoring, Gemini. You know, the kind of tricky thing with this journey is that you can ignore problems all you want, kind of push them to the forefront. You can move, you can get into a relationship, whatever that's looking like. But once that energy gets kind of settled in, then it just manifests in a different sort of way there. It takes on a different scenario, same sort of themes kind of pop up, and it just like you find yourself in kind of repeating a sort of sense of repeating this cycle in a sense. And I feel the Six of Pentacles is giving this area that's needing healing the energy that it deserves, you know, giving it that because I feel the Six of Pentacles is giving me like you get back what you put in, and the more that you put in as far as like this healing and stuff, then the more that you get back as far as like this sense of lightness that kind of comes here. And then I feel like there's this I feel this like the Page of Pentacles is like we start seeing more tangible results with that. You know, you start feeling better, start sleeping a lot better. You know, maybe start feeling a little more inspired to start different crafts and things. And then I feel like it's taking what what you've learned from this healing and then applying it, you know, and then getting the wisdom from that, because I feel it's one thing to know that something needs to be healed, but if we're not doing it, then we're not getting the wisdom from that. Or it's like, oh, it's. I feel it's getting a real deep understanding as to the root cause of what this is. Really, kind of when we're doing this hermit energy, this reflecting, and kind of going within there, allowing yourself to just kind of sit with yourself, or maybe even if you have troubles maybe doing meditation or kind of sitting in silence, maybe your mind tends to kind of wander all over the place, then maybe doing some journaling, you know, getting these thoughts out there. And you know, you don't even have to maybe write about anything in particular, just start writing and just see what kind of comes out for you there, Gemini. See if anything sort of just comes to light there. Do this for a little while as it makes sense for you, and then see if we notice any sort of like recurring themes, or maybe places where we're giving our energies to that may be preventing us from getting to these new paths there, or something along those lines. So I do feel too, Gemini, that for some that maybe we might be, because the Six of Pentacles can be this card of reciprocity, and if we're not getting back, because I feel like this is a very very well depicted description or image for how the Six of Pentacles is. You see how this cat has all this fresh fish, but he's dangling this. He's like, here you go, giving this black cat here this already eaten fish here. There's really nothing on it left. If something you're doing, if you're not getting something from it, it's just like something's taking from you all of the time. Whether this be maybe a job, a relationship, maybe even like I'm even giving like a living space for some. You know, maybe we're trying to turn some, maybe do up some sort of like house project or something like that, and maybe we bit off a little more than we can chew, and it's just like, well, crap. Now what am I gonna do with this? You know, I feel that there's is a yeah, just you know, shifting away from that with this Six of Pentacles here, and just kind of like regrouping and figuring out where do we go from here with that. So just a little something to consider there, Gemini. I think I'm going to leave that there. All right, let's get some tea, and then let's talk about Capricorn. Because you have the Empress. Venus is going to be entering into Cap on the 23rd of January at about 3:50 a.m. And with this is the Empress in her business professional. She's coming in and she means business. And there's a tendency to, there maybe you feel more of a tendency to take relationships a little more seriously there, Gemini. Not that you don't already do, but really kind of, you know, Venus in Capricorn is one of those things. It's just like it's more than just like those displays of just like, or like, oh, I love you so much. It's just like, well, how? well, show me. Let's see them through actions. That's what Venus and Capricorn about when it comes with these relationships. And you may notice that you kind of lose that desire for that, like maybe like short-term flings and things, and look for more long-term commitments. And not just even in love, maybe even in friendships, because Gemini energy is a very, you're a very social sign. You can make friends easy, but I feel like maybe you're getting a little tired of just like the kind of like light, kind of superficial sort of bonds there. And we want something maybe a little bit more, just a little bit deeper, a little more, with a little more substance. Then it's a great energy to kind of solidify that, Gemini. But also too, this is a great one to get your resources and things in alignment there, because the Empress does deal with building and money and things. Considering that one of the signs she rules over is Taurus, and that sense of security. Ooh. And this can, in like financial matters, there may be a greater focus on like savings, looking into different ways of investing, and just making more financially sound decisions. So something to maybe even we might look for like an advisor or something, like a King of Swords to maybe even help something with that, Gemini. So that's something to even consider. But then Venus will be moving from excuse me, be moving from Capricorn into Aquarius on the 16th of February at about 11:05 a.m. And with this, now she's gone from this business dress, and now she has dyed her hair pink. It's she's rocking she's, I'm making her appearance more and more ridiculous as it goes on. She's just like, she's got spiked hair. She's got this short pixie cut. She's wearing she's got her fairy wings on. She's rocking her skirt, and she's going out there saying, "What's up, world?" And I think that might be the most ridiculous one I've done yet. But she doesn't feel as ridiculous. That's the new style she's rocking, and who knows, might be the new style for the future. But Venus in Aquarius really does kind of impacts our aesthetic preferences. So you may find yourself like liking more, or like looking more for like unique and avant-garde kind of futuristic styles and fashions and art and things. Maybe if you happen to be like a maybe if you happen to work with clay, for example, maybe you switch mediums and now you're working with, maybe we're sculpting now, or maybe we're doing painting, or just trying different things there, or switching up different styles. But this this transit might also bring about an increased engagement in kind of online, digital, and long distance relationships, considering that Aquarius is associated with technology as well. So this can be one where you can do a lot of networking there, Gemini, getting out there, reaching out to different groups, and maybe sealing some deals there, or finding that special relationship, whatever that might be looking like there for you. So just something to think about there. But let's go ahead and get your next oracle card here. All right, Gemini. Interesting. All right, so you have the smell card here. And with this card, I feel for some, there may be for some, I feel we might be changing up the scents that we have in our house here. Maybe we're playing around with different, and maybe not even just the scents, but maybe even how we work with it. Maybe we're trying candles, or maybe we're working with incense, or maybe even with like essential oils, getting like a diffuser or something along those lines. Just something I feel like to just kind of freshen up the air and things along those lines. And I feel is how is But that's interesting too, because this feels like it's not that your environments smells there, Gemini, but I feel like it's like I feel for some that maybe we might even be thinking about like moving to maybe a different maybe area, possibly even when I was talking about with the Six of Swords earlier, because this can be a card of travel as well. And maybe we're going from thinking about moving from like the more kind of congested sort of, because when you're in like a city setting, for example, there are a lot of smells. There are a lot of things that can assault the sensories, um, assault the senses in a way. And so maybe we're getting that, tired of that overwhelming type of energy. Now we're wanting to get more out, maybe in a suburb, or maybe even going out into the country, possibly even, or whatever that might be looking like. But I feel like it's like this. It's like, I don't know, it's like this smells that like there's a change on the horizon here that's trying to happen here. But that even something too, Gemini, I feel there is this for some others. I feel there's this energy of maybe exploring how scents and certain smells and things, healing through the sense of smell, through different through scents like that, because how you have like a certain smell that'll bring up an old memory possibly, or take you to a certain place, and can maybe evoke some sort of like bring about some sort of thing that maybe kind of been kept kind of locked away there with the Hermit. Like, let me get some let me get some tarot on this, Gemini, and get some details. Oh, hmm. Because I'll tell you what, Gemini, there are some times where I'll get these whiffs of spring every now and again, and it's something that I've just really been noticing here over like maybe the last year or so. Like something fresh is coming here. Like there's something to really look forward to around that time. Or, but let me get some. Let me see what these energies are saying. All right, so you have the Three of Swords, the Eight of Swords, and the Five of Pentacles in reverse. And then you have the Knight of Pentacles and the Tower upright. Where do you want to start? So with the Eight of Swords here, Gemini, I feel this is a time for yeah, just I feel like it's like we're this smell card is giving me just like, we've been sensing that something's been needing to change, like we needing to break out in some kind of way, that maybe we've been keeping ourselves cooped up in some sort of way, or we've been maybe depriving ourselves, not and depriving might be a strong word, but it's just like maybe some ways that we've not been, yeah, that we've been, I don't know, like been kind of keeping ourselves in a box here lately. And I feel like it's this energy of time of a time of, because the Three of Swords can be, when it's in reverse, can be a card of healing through some sort of tough experience in a sense. And now I feel like it's like, when you go to move on from certain things, let's say you got through with like a relationship, and maybe you had like a certain scent that someone liked. Maybe you try on something different, something that like is more unique to you and like just kind of embodies you more, or something along those lines here. But there's a shift that I feel like is trying to happen here with the Tower. And I feel like I think I might need to get a little bit. I might need to get a little bit more with this Tower energy here, Gemini. But I feel whatever this shift is that's happening, I feel like it's one that is, we want to be patient with the progress, or with the process, as far as like where this thing is going here, as far as like if we're healing from whatever may have hurt us. Maybe this was a relationship, maybe we had something that happened with our jobs, or maybe we had something happen with our finances, or whatever that is. And it's not, I feel like it's not keeping that same. Let me get some, let me get some or get a clarifier with the Tower here, Gemini. Alright, so the Tower is clarified by the Three of Pentacles in reverse, and then you have the Justice card here. And so it's just almost like something's just not working with you anymore. And it's like, and I keep going back to the smell, because it's just, I feel like maybe like a certain scent of something reminds you of someone, or just like reminds you of this certain energies and we're trying to just to move away from that now. We're trying to get to this place of this newer place of balance there. It's like we see this is what's happening here, this foundation, this whatever this is no longer working here. And so what do we do in order to shift that dynamic in a different direction there, Gemini? Maybe this is something too where we've been, it's like the Knight of Pentacles is like, yes, we want to take our time, but maybe we might even kind of dragging our feet on this change, or as far as like dealing with this thing. But now I feel the energies are trying to get you to move to somewhere different, get it to where something's not taking from you so much, or that's keeping you in such a low state there. But yeah, it's very curious, Gemini, but I think I'm going to move out of that. But little something to consider, because just some, because that three, and that's interesting. I just got with that, like, just thinking about that Three of Pentacles there. If you're in a group kind of setting there, if you're dealing, or if there's a certain person that just like something doesn't quite smell right with them, like, what I mean, like, it's more so like you just something doesn't seem like it's like they're being forthcoming, or whatever that may be. Just like trust your intuition and may put up some boundaries there. Just kind of keep an eye on that. But yeah, I hope that made sense. That's I think I'm gonna leave that there. So, but let's talk about this next energy here, which is Taurus. Because you got Big Papa that's in Taurus, Jupiter, and then you got Uranus that's in Taurus. And Uranus is about to go direct on the 27th, Gemini. So that's going to be an interesting one, because Uranus has been asleep for a little while there. Now that he's literally waking up like a week after Pluto enters into Aquarius. And the Aquarius energy, they're ruled by both. The traditional ruler is Saturn, and the modern ruler is Uranus. But it's going to take on, Pluto's been kicking it with Saturn since he's been, more, with that dispositor, Saturn, since he was in Capricorn over the last 15 years. But now we're going to shift more towards that Uranian energy there. And so, yeah, things are going to start shaking things up again. Things are going to start. Uranus is going to start bringing some things back to throwing some more curveballs our way, possibly. And again, that's not something to get you scared. It's just to get you, keep you adaptable, keep you flexible, keep you working with the energies there, keep you yeah, get you prepared. So, but with Jupiter. Jupiter's going to be in Taurus until the 25th of May 2020, oh, excuse me, of this year. And with this, this has been real emphasis on growth and expansion in like kind of practical areas where it comes to like our where do we not feel secure in, where could we potentially grow more, where could we invest more and make it so that our abundance really lasts for us in the long term there, Gemini. And this has been favorable too for like on a more kind of like material kind of financial thing, making more financial planning, investing kind of long term assets, and also too just enjoying the physical world, all the smells that the world has to offer there. And that might even be something too, kind of just like the with that smell card. It's just like even just like getting a smell or getting some more fresh air there, Gemini. And just a random or just a little side note there. Just I feel for some just like being mindful of like any sort of like real strong perfumes or something along those lines there. I'm getting like some sort of like maybe like an allergy thing, or there's just like a certain scent or something that I feel like may need to that's just a little download that's coming through there. But also, you got Uranus, who's going to be in Taurus until the 7th of July, 2025. And, this has been a very tricky place for Uranus to be because Taurus does like that security. Likes things to be persistent and to be, to go at a steady clip and, to have, just some sort of rhyme or reason. But that's not Uranus. Uranus has no rhyme or reason in what he does. And yes, he does. But when you compare it to Taurus, it's completely impractical. And yeah, this has been asking us to become adaptable with the shifts in how food prices have gone, with how we go about accumulating resources, or how we go about saving our money, or where do we invest in, and it's really kind of changed how people view possessions and wealth, but also this could lead to significant changes or advancements in kind of environmental practices and how we interact with the natural world. So, doing more things to kind of reduce your carbon footprint there, to give back to the earth, considering that the earth gives us so much. And it's just like, how can we help heal the planet in a sense? Because, we've been, as a society, it's just been just kind of just sort of take all the time. So now we want to try to balance that out, out some more. So, yeah, just something to just to keep in mind there, Gemini. But let's get let me get your oracle card on this. Excuse me. All right, Gemini, look at you. Lunar shenanigans. You got the full moon here. And I like this, Gemini, because I feel this full moon being here. It's giving me this energy of a realization that there's something that is coming to. I feel like the moon is asking you to, and depending on how, if you're catching this before the new moon, because the new moon is going to be happening tomorrow in Capricorn. And, I feel like this is a time with this full moon, it's like asking you, what do you want to see kind of come to fruition there? What do we want to see? Yeah, just kind of like grow and blossom, and where do we want to put that energy, kind of that energy into with this full moon there. But the full moon energy can also be this sense of release, and I feel that maybe for some there's this, like this, especially with this healing energies, like maybe there's something that we need to let go in order to feel the fullness. It's like feel the fullness in order to, how do I want to put this, to release something in order to understand how it, it's like right on the tip of my tongue. Release. It's like in order to feel something to its fullest extent, to understand why there was this such an attachment to something, because the moon can deal with our emotions, and I feel too that there is this sort of like, let me get some tarot with this full moon there. And but one thing I will say about this, let me get your tarot cards. But with the full moon, that's going to be happening this month. It's going to be happening in Leo, so that's going to be a very exciting energy for you there. Because that's, oh, look at that, the good old sun. You look at that, the moon is shining. And that might even be something too there, Gemini. Oh, but let me, one thought at a time. One, see, this is what happens when I get all over the place. One, I feel like with this full moon that's going to be happening this month, it's going to be happening in Leo, and that's going to be forming sextiles with your sign. That's very nice flowing energy there. Leo is very fun, very playful energy, creative type of energy there. So this could even be like seeing a creation or something to this like completion there, kind of bringing things to light there, because the sun is actually the dispositor of going to be of the will be the dispositor of this full moon. And yeah, the sun deals with that sense of self and vitality and creativity and things. But yeah, there's even something here too, even just with that sun full moon. Like, I feel like it's like the energies are asking you to shine in some sort of way there, Gemini, to really kind of realize a certain potential here that maybe we've been keeping kind of held back here, possibly. But let me see what's going on with these tarot cards here. All right. So you have the Judgment card and the Ace of Pentacles in reverse. And then you have the Two of Pentacles, the Ten of Pentacles, and then the Sun card upright. And look at all these pentacles there, Gemini. Where do you want to start? So with the Ten of Pentacles here, I like that popped up with Taurus, because they're both, I feel like Jupiter and Taurus and Uranus and Taurus is very Ten of Pentacles energy. Really building a foundation there and figuring out what your legacy looks like. And I feel for some with this Ace of Pentacles there, it's like maybe we don't know what that is. And I feel like this is a time to, if you've been feeling that sense of confusion or haven't found that direction as far as like where we want to transform, or where we want to grow, or how we want to like what legacy do we want to leave behind. This is a time to like kind of shine some light on some things, do some meditative work there. And that's fascinating too, Gemini, that you got this energy. Both the Sun and Pluto, the Judgment card, would pop out here while we're talking about this. So I feel that that conjunction, you could really make the use of this energy to allow yourself to face some deeper issues there, in order that to use that as a seed to start something new, to establish this new sort of foundation there. But I feel the Judgment card is there's something that we're having troubles letting go, something that still has this sort of hold on you, and that's, that we haven't quite dealt with yet, some sort of unconscious programming or something in there that's that's kind of messing with your flow a little bit. And now it's time to try to find a way to get those energies in balance there, getting them working a little more fluidly. So and I feel even too, it's like the Sun, I don't know, like yeah, it's very interesting, Gemini. It's like I feel like the Sun here, it's kind of like what I was talking about, that conjunction. It's like Pluto is it's like it's Pluto's pulling up some dark things. The Sun is shining a light on it, and it's just like, are we willing to see it, and really willing to acknowledge what we need to change in order to get into flow, to start manifesting again, to really start getting our sense of abundance, start contributing, focusing towards our, whatever our plans are, or things along those lines. So, but I think I'm going to leave that there, Gemini. And I hope that this makes sense. Yours is a very interesting reading here. All right, but let's get into this last energy here, which is Pisces. Because you have Saturn that's in Pisces, and then we have Neptune that's in Pisces. Now, Saturn is going to be in Pisces until the 25th of May, 2025. And Saturn's the one, Saturn really does get a bad rep. And Saturn does really have our best interest at heart. He requires us to put in this work to get, because Ten of Pentacles just doesn't fall in your lap. It's something that you do need to put in some work to really he's like the type, like, you got to earn this, whereas Jupiter just gives all the time. And I feel it's one of those things that it's more satisfactory when you can look at the fruits of your effort, the fruits of your labor and things. And, really I feel there's a deeper appreciation than when things are just like handed to you all the time there, Gemini. But Saturn is the one that, you put in that work, he's going to reward you in kind. And considering the sign that he's in, such an intuitive sign like Pisces, this could be one of, like, really deep kind of spiritual understanding and awakening, and just like a deeper sensitivity to these energies and to ourselves there, Gemini. But Saturn in Pisces is a period for grounding dreams and spiritual insights, and learning important emotional and spiritual lessons as well, and responsibly kind of navigating these more kind of ethereal sort of aspects of life there, and being mindful of just like of boundaries as well there. That's a tricky one for Pisces energy and kind of 12th house placements sometimes, so that's something to be aware of. And then you have Neptune that's in Pisces. Let me grab some tea, Gemini. And Neptune will be in Pisces until the 3rd of March 2025. And with this energy, there has, and I'm sure you've noticed this, Gemini, there's been a huge spiritual shift and emotional shift, both on a personal and a collective level, when it comes to, as far as like, more psychics kind of popping up, or just kind of coming out, kind of feeling more comfortable with the, talking about their gifts, or, more tarot readers, or even this, like, Reiki, people who work with Reiki, or any sort of like spiritual work along those lines has become more kind of socially accepted. There is a different type of conversation when it comes around these things. So it has been a very sort of enlightening time. And this is a great time that favors like introspection, artistic pursuits, and the exploration of spiritual realms. But the thing that's kind of tricky with Neptune is that we want to be mindful of that boundary between like reality and illusion, because Neptune dissolves boundaries, and yeah, things can get a little murky when it comes to Neptune. And she's the modern ruler of Pisces, so she's been at home for quite a while there. But the one sort of little toughness with this energy is that depending on where your placements are at, this is forming a square with your sign. And Neptune's been doing this for a little while there, Gemini. So she's about she's got only a little bit more before she moves before she begins or exits her a little over a decade long trek through Pisces. But squares can bring about delays and really just kind of inconveniencing situations, challenges, conflicts, and things like that. But they're doing so in order to help you to adapt in a sense. It's just like, okay, this is the conflict. Okay, what do I need to do about this? The example that I've been using, and knock on wood, because I have been talking to a lot of people who've been having car stuff, but it's like if you have, like, let's say something like something goes on with the car, and you need to take it into the shop for however long, and it's just like, okay, do we take Lyft? Do we have public transportation near us? What are our options for us? Are we going to carpool? So yeah, it's one of those things that sometimes it can even bring about, like a blessing in disguise. Maybe you get to, while you're taking your commute, maybe you get caught up on like your podcast, or maybe you get caught up on some other things that you've been maybe putting off there. And who knows, maybe it becomes like, maybe you take like take the transit a couple days a week, maybe drive the rest of the time, however that may be looking there, Gemini. So, but let me get your last oracle card here. Oh, all right. Thank you. All right, Gemini, so you have the Adorn card here. And that's interesting. I feel like, especially with Gemini energy, because I feel this is kind of asking you, it's almost like asking, I feel like, who are you? It's like, and not by, I feel like not like I'm mom, or I'm a like, I don't know, it's like it's asking yourself something deeper than that, than just like these sort of like, who are you wanting to become, what how are we wanting yourself to be presented? I'm not like, because Gemini energy is one, you're the twins. And I feel Gemini energy is one that, because you're the mutable air sign, you can adapt to people really easy, I can't tell you how many times I've had people say, it says, oh my gosh, it's over like we're twins. And it's just like, well, yeah, because Gemini energy, you pick up on your social cues and little things like that. And Gemini energy is just real witty, and it's, but sometimes I feel the trickiness with that is that you can lose yourself sometimes with that, or you're putting on so many hats, and then when you get by yourself, who's that person? What is that person like? What are their interests? What do they like to do? And so that's where I feel like it's like, are we putting on? And I feel like too, like it's, yeah, it's like beneath all of the fluff and the clutter and the jewelry, and I'm just looking at more so this figure than what you may actually be doing there, Gemini. Just like, who are you beneath it? Who are you beneath it all? And just kind of shining a light on that there. But let me get your last tarot cards here so I can get you out of here, Gemini. Gemini, last little bit here. So you have the Queen of Wands, the King of Cups, and the Ace of Cups in reverse. And then you have the Four of Pentacles upright. And let's switch back over. Oh, there you go. Because I feel with the Four of Pentacles here, see how this cat here is like trying to hold all these mice down at once. And that's what I kind of feel like might be kind of happening with this Adorn card here. Maybe we're trying to cling on to a whole bunch of images or a whole bunch of ideas of maybe how people think, who we think we are, but that doesn't feel, but it's like when we get back, it's just like, do we feel fulfilled after that? I almost feel that there is this, like this emptiness that's kind of inside of their Gemini, something that's it's almost like we've kind of gotten like sort of maybe kind of lost in this sort of like this wave over here in a sense. And there might even be this sort of like emotional distress. Maybe you defined yourself through your family, maybe you define yourself through your friends, through your work, but now I feel it's like with the Queen of Wands, it's just like, what lights your fire? What really does it for you, and not really worrying about what others thinks there, and not being so. And I feel too, it's like it's like tapping into that kind of inner reserves there with the Four of Pentacles. That sort of because that's interesting. I'm even sort of getting like maybe this sort of like guarded energy, even with like the Four of Pentacles being here. That maybe we take on these personas and things because we don't want others to see the true. You want people to see the true you, to get to that depth. And I understand that, but I wonder, what is the cause behind that? Is there a deeper sort of meaning to that that's preventing this sort of lack of intimacy or something along those lines, or allowing this vulnerability to happen there, Gemini? So, and maybe that might be something too. Maybe people kind of and. I know, and I'm not saying that you're fake or anything, but it's more so that I feel that maybe that's what people might feel, is that like, oh well, Gemini X this way or Gemini X that way or whatever. But see, I don't feel like that's for you. I don't feel like that's actually what's going on, and I feel like it's. And not that I feel like you necessarily need to defend yourself against other people there, Gemini, but I do feel like, allowing maybe a bit more of those sort of like emotions to come through a little bit, to engage in something a little more, like we were talking with the Empress, with Venus and Capricorn, something a little more long term, a little more solidified there, kind of really sort of seeing a different side of you, seeing the different phases of Gemini. Now we're wanting to see you at your fullest. What does that Gemini look like? So yeah, I think I'm gonna leave that there. So yeah, I do. I hope that made sense, Gemini. Very something to consider there. But if anything resonated with you, Gemini, or if you like that, give it a thumbs up. And share this, Gemini, if you know someone who's been either needing to heal someone or needing to heal someone, or if they need some healing themselves, or maybe there's this, not living to their authentic self, excuse me, whatever that might be looking like there. And then subscribe there, you King of Swords. Hit that bell button, get notified on all these videos each week. And then last little bit, if you have any Cancer in your placement, Sun, Moon, Rising, Venus, come on over to the Cherubim, friends. I do videos Monday through Friday there. We discuss lunar shenanigans, absolutely. And do like the spreads based off what sign the moon is in, what phase she's in. And it's a solid time there, Gemini. And all that housekeeping is down in the description box below. But let me get your surprise cards here. Oh, so I can get you out of here, Gemini. So you got the World card. And with this card, I do feel like that this is indicating that it's like, especially with that heal, like whatever it is, if we have something that we need to get healed, because that adorn energy with that heal, that could be, I feel those two could even be kind of tied together in some sort of intricate way there. But I do feel like that there's some closure that I feel like is needing to happen here with the World card. Something that is, we're coming to this finish line here. We're entering where, how do we want to end this chapter of, really kind of put 20, like maybe the previous, calendar year behind us, or even thinking about just all this Pluto and Capricorn energy, how we're going to close that chapter out, and what does this new chapter look like with all this, kind of air energy getting ready to come into the mix, because we're about to be in a kind of a lot of air and a lot of fire coming through here. I feel like once we start getting into next year, it's going to be all the outer planets. Pluto's the biggest one, but yeah, all the other outer planets, Neptune, Uranus, and Saturn, and Jupiter will be moving too next year as well. So we're gonna have a lot of big movements that are gonna be happening. So I do feel this is this time for you during this season, to figure out where areas do we need to start putting some you're kind of like putting that final period on that story, maybe closing that book and then moving on to something new there, Gemini. But let me get your other oracle card here so I can get you out of here. Interesting. Alright, Gemini, no fighting. But you got the Brawler card here. And this is a card of lack of empathy and confrontation. And this feels less with people and more so internally. This especially that kind of that confrontation. I feel that well, for some, I do feel that there is this need to confront, whatever. And again, it's not like we're forcing this stuff to happen, but I do feel like there is a need to acknowledge this thing, to figure out, what are some ways that we could potentially think about healing this energy. Do we want to, are there certain different practices that we can maybe do? Maybe there's some literature that we can look into, or maybe there's someone that we can talk with, or something along those lines there, to kind of show ourselves and learn to show ourselves this compassion. Because I feel like when we meet ourselves, or we can meet others as deeply as we've met ourselves there, Gemini. And I feel like that's something that is important, being the communicators of the zodiac. And I feel that if you've maybe been speaking from a lack of empathy here as of late, it's just like, what is the source of that? Because Gemini energy can be, you and Sagittarius are similar in the sense that Sagittarius is blunt, where Gemini is, I feel, glib, but both have the potential to cut deep. if they're not mindful. So I do feel that if you're in this hurt place, or maybe you have been finding yourself getting in more fights, maybe more arguments, or forbid, maybe we've been getting into some physical altercations. What is the source of that? How can we assuage that? What is this built up thing, that's dealing with that? Is this truly the person who you really, feel like you want to be? So all right, but I think I'm going to leave that there, Gemini. So just something to consider. But you stay safe out there. But whatever needs to heal, whatever needs to be brought to light. Yeah, just stay safe out there, and you raise your vibration, raise to the roof there, Gemini. Do some things. Do take care of yourself. Do some process this, these, whatever emotions or anything that happens to come up there for you, Gemini. And I will catch you on the next one. Later.